great card, a 5-match card for Survivor Series this past week for WWE, the premium live event, one of the big four, the traditional big fours here. The card was pretty good. Team Bianca won the Women's War Games. Gunther defeated The Miz for retained the IC title. Santos Escobar defeated Dragon Lee. Rhea Ripley defeated Zoe Stark. And then Team Cody won the Men's War Games. And of course, the biggest news of them all from the evening, CM Punk made his nearly decade-long return to the WWE. And instead of just going through like, hey, what was your favorite part? I saw that WWE tweeted out a couple of questions for folks about the pay-per-view. And I wanted to ask y'all, just because I figured we'd be able to cover the card pretty much in its entirety this way. And then I'll end it with a clip I got from Ken, which is his overall thoughts from Survivor Series. So first question, what was the biggest OMG moment of the night for y'all?
It was Punk for me. Like I had been watching the thing on my phone. We got to the end, like they had the go home happy moment and everybody celebrating in the ring. And like I'd already diverted my attention a little bit. Like I was playing MLB The Show, which I downloaded for $10. Like that was fun. But I was playing it and I'm like, I heard the static. I'm like, wait, they actually did it. So like that, like the pop
crazy
that Chicago get, like they had to do it for that alone. Like that's the moments that wrestling is made for. Like when people just become completely unglued from one singular action. Like, when they say like people were like hanging from the rafters, they were that excited. Like it literally looked like that when they did like the wide shot of the Allstate Arena or whatever they were. Like that's one of the biggest OMG moments of the last decade, I would say, easily.
That's a fact. I really thought it was over. It had the little thing, the copyright in the corner, and I was watching to see like, is Randy Orton going to RKO Jay? I was looking at the ring the entire time, like I saw the copyright thing come up. I was like, oh, maybe he's not, but I was still watching. Maybe we get one last sneak RKO in, and then when CM Punk music came on, I was just like, wait, I yelled like, what? And my husband was like, no way, they really did it. And like, I actually got off the couch like, what? And when he finally came out and you saw him, I was like, yo, this is really, like, he's really bad.
Yeah, that was, it's kind of crazy because all the rumors and stuff like that, but it's been rumored for years and years, and he was on Talking Smack, or was it Talking Smack?
Yep.
Fox hired him. He was on there for a minute, so then like him coming back when they was like, oh, well, CM Punk is back, but then they only use him in the talking capacity. Everybody, for me, it was like, okay, we probably won't see him wrestle him. You know what I mean? Like, if the best y'all gonna do is bring him back in the talking capacity, I'm good. I don't want to be no special guest ref, no GM, no nothing like that if he ain't hopping in the ring. So for him to actually be back, and it looks like he'll be wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was dope, but I still kind of saved my reservation. So everybody else may have been like, oh my God, I was kind of like, okay, cool. Let's see what happens.
It was just like that's been like such a toxic relationship for so long. It's not even necessarily like everybody eventually comes back, but like that was one of the ones where it's like, oh, that bridge is burnt, and maybe it is Vince leaving.
Vince being gone is a difference maker. Tim, what was your biggest OMG moment of the night?
Io Sky dropping trash out the sky, bro. That she put the damn trash can on her head and jumped off the cage. I was like, no, it ain't flying trash, bro. But no,
that's a crazy.
I wasn't expecting something like that.
No, that was mine too, because I know myself, if you would have put a trash can over my head while I'm standing on top of a cage, I would have fell backwards, like off the other way, because like that's just what's going to happen. I'm not coordinated in that way. That was it was either that one for me or the RKO off the top of the cage when they threw JD off and JD flew through the air like Lois from Family Guy when she jumped off the stage or the stairs. That's how she looked in the air. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, that was probably my OMG moment. All right. Best entrance of the night.
Jay.
I had Jay too. See, no, first of all, I don't know how he got on top of that cage. And second of all, You see him on top of the cage and the whole crowd going up with him. It's just the visual is just dope.
Dude, that shit is going to hit like crack at WrestleMania.
Yep.
It's just me, who's yeet. Yeet. That's still crazy to me.
For selfish reasons, I'm hoping this night too. But
right. Well, I have Judgment Day actually. Like, I like their brooding. They kind of like, they really embrace like that dark, like, we're gonna come in with the gangbuster style, get the mask on and shit like that. Like, I like the big shoulder pads. Like, I really thought it was smooth as a bud, even though like I don't have an issue with Judgment Day, but I don't fuck with them. If that makes sense. Like, so for them to have been my pick, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Well, no, I did. I thought their interest was pretty cool. Jay was number 2. I didn't know what the fuck Steph had going on with the shoulder things and the clouds on his shoulder and shit. The big gold puffs. I don't know what the fuck that was about.
It was art.
Hi,
Well, I won't know nothing about that one.
Match of the night. For me, it was the Women's War Games.
Ditto.
Started the card off right, and I felt like it was just the perfect level of excitement, even before everyone got in the ring. And then when everyone did get in the ring, it was pure chaos. I love the storytelling with like Becky and Charlotte. I just love that match.
Yeah, they showed out on that one. They definitely stole the show. And it was the first match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy Gunther. Like, I just always enjoy his matches. Like, they're always hard hitting. And for him to pull that type of match out of The Miz is impressive. And like, those are probably the 2 greatest intercontinental champions of this century. So yeah, like I enjoyed that. And it looks like they're gonna run it back because they continue to feud on Monday. So
I'm here for it because, like you said, like I hope actually the Miz does get it back so he can get that record of most IC title reigns in history. So I think that'd be dope. I was actually like, I had not a rooting interest, but like their promo work was so good to me. Like, some people weren't into this at all, and I get it, but like I'm a low key Miz fan. I think that he's really good on the mic. He's always entertaining to me, and I loved Miz and Mrs. So I'm all in on the Miz. MVP of the night, Tim. Who was your MVP of Survivor Series?
The dude that got like voices in his head.
Jack Randy.
Right. They talk to him. They understand. Randy Orton was my MVP because, boy, where the storytelling was going, they was getting their asses cooked and they was getting smoked in that motherfucker, bro. So for Randy to come in, had the big spot right away with Dom with the snap suplex, and then turn around and have the hanging DDT, to have the whole squad do a hanging DDT, to them throwing him JD off the cage to him, like, hey, feeding him to the sharks, bro. Here you go, bro. Like, Raymond changed the whole thing. Granted, yes, that's what he was supposed to do. He was making his big return. But at the same time, for that to have been the main event, the main match, for him to come in and have his cape on like a mug, I thought he should have got the MVP for it.
No, I feel you on that. His entrance, I think part of what was so cool with it too was that Rhea had came out to cash in for Damian right before Randy's music hit. So you were like, oh shoot, what is this about to be? And then here come Randy.
Randy. Yeah, no, and like before the pay-per-view, that's what we were talking about. It's kind of like War Games can really shield you, or like, you know, like it can protect you. Like, he didn't have to come in right away and work like a 20-minute pay-per-view match. Like, he came in, got his shit off, and left like with minimal bumps, and like it was a successful night. He came back big as hell. Like, he looked like Randy Orton ate Randy Orton. Like,
yeah.
I was texting Sam that too. I was like, yo, he's huge. And she was like, is he? I said, he's as big as Drew McIntyre, fam. And she was like, oh, shoot. He is as big as Drew McIntyre. Like, I've never seen, like, Randy Orton is huge. And then on Raw, they mentioned that he put on so much weight to have just extra protection for his back and whatnot. And I was like, I mean, sure, I guess that makes sense. But I'm just like, man just looks impressive right now in this moment. Good to see him back. It's really good to see Randy back wrestling again. Eric, who was your MVP of the night?
The Chicago crowd.
Ooh, that's a good one.
They were on fire from jump. Like that's been some of my problems with some of these hotter crowds. Is that they don't typically give the women their due. But from the opening bell, like they were hot for all the entrances, all the high spots. Like they showed appropriate respect to every match. Like they were invested in all of them. And then obviously the pop for Punk at the end, like they did their job.
No, that's a fact. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that one.
Me neither.
All right, Tim, I know you got to depart from us, sir.
I do.
I'm gonna ask you real quick before you leave. I'm gonna come back to my MVP. Who was your best return of the night?
CM Punk.
Okay.
It was Punk.
Okay, I just want to say, but have a good evening, sir.
All right, y'all. I will holler at y'all, folks. Don't forget, say your prayers, brush your teeth. Give it to me.
This man. All right, Tim. So my MVP of the night was Triple H, because I don't know how this man pulled this all off. Like, just the direction, how things have been going. We've talked about Triple H being in control and what that looks like for the company, but him keeping the CM Punk return a secret, where even talent didn't realize that he was coming back until like shortly before the man came out. I was like, this man Triple H is doing his job. And when that paper, I'm still so used to saying pay-per-view, when that PLE ended, I knew the press conference was coming up, and normally Triple H ends the press conference. And I said, no, sir, you come to the front of the classroom. I need to hear from you right now in this moment, sir. So I was also happy he kicked off the press conference. And the way he did that was also genius, because he didn't even really bring up CM Punk. He knew that would be the questions that are asked in the audience. And he used his time to highlight everything else to make sure he covered I was like, just bravo to Triple H. Like, the man does his job well, and I'm just happy for him.
And like the thing is, it was a successful night even before the Punk part. Like if it had just gone off the air how it looked like it was going to, like it still would have been a hell of a night. You got a Randy Orton return, you got an R-Truth return. You know, like you had two great War Games matches. It was a hell of a night even before that. So obviously, like that was the icing on the cake. But yeah, like he's been knocking it out the park the entire time. Like, you know, people kind of try to second guess some of the things, and it's kind of like at this point he's earned the benefit of the doubt. Like, I think, you know, some people might disagree, but I think even like the decision with Roman and Cody at Mania, like it seems to have been, you know, like we still have to get the payoff, but I think that everything that we've gotten up until this point has been like, you know, it's shown that it's been the right decision, because like you had a hell of a feud with Brock Lesnar, which has kind of made Cody, and he's hotter now than he was even going into Mania. So yeah, Triple H is killing it right now. And it's like late era Vince was a man rapidly approaching 80. He lost his fastball a little bit. Like he created all of this. So like, regardless of how I feel about Vince McMahon, like he's the GOAT at all of this. And Triple H learned at his knee for the last 30 years. So like he's taking what he's learned from Vince and putting his own spin on it, and being more current with the product and more open-minded to trying different things. And it's like, it's the best of both worlds, honestly.
I cannot disagree with any point that you just made there. I definitely co-sign for that. Tim said his best return tonight was CM Punk. That was mine as well. I had a / Randy Orton as well. Randy was my answer until CM Punk came out, and I just had to go with that. But shout out to them. And I know your return shout out. We cover everybody. So who is yours, Eric?
And really, I just wanted to say it was Punk, but like I wanted to say this just for the sake of giving him a mention. Like, R-Truth, you don't realize how much you miss him until he's not around, and then he comes back and it's like, he's goofy as hell. It never makes sense, but like his comedic timing is always impeccable. Like he always makes shit fun. Like there were times where I didn't get it, but like now, probably like the last 6 to 8 years, like it's kind of like I get it now. He has a perfect place on the card. Like it's not like you're expecting him to be a world champion or anything like that.
Right.
Like just to come in and light up the room and make things, more fun and entertaining. Like he took that Ruffles segment, which is clearly just a commercial, but he made it hilarious. You know what I mean? Like so.
He also made Jay Uso's entrance even better. I think it was WWE who posted their version of his intro, and so you see Jay, and then they pan over to the crowd, and then you see R-Truth in the crowd doing the arm movements too, and he looks at the camera like, yeah, I'm here, and then it just pans back out, and I was like, R-Truth is gold, like he just is.
He's fun as hell.
All right, so as I mentioned to start, those were all the questions we have for Survivor Series, and
I
Ken
do have
can
one more move off of wrestling, or you're gonna play Ken?
No, Ken sent me a voice memo with some of his Survivor Series thoughts. So I want to make sure that Ken.
Let's do that, and then I just have a wrap up question for you.
Perfect. All right. So Ken sent in a voice memo. I think it's about like 3 minutes long or so. And I thought it would be funny because like on TV shows and stuff, when someone's calling in, they have like their little picture up. So I was going to use the picture of him holding up them sausages at Lambeau, but I said I'm not going to do my boy like that. So if you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be a little graphic up as well while Ken is speaking. So here were some of Ken's thoughts from Survivor Series this past week.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy, K Harris, the gentleman, the everyday gentleman. Unfortunately, I'm not recording tonight, but I did want to give my 2 cents on Survivor Series. Survivor Series was a very entertaining pay-per-view. I went into it not really with high expectations or anything like that. Just wanted to watch, some good wrestling and just be entertained. And I definitely was entertained. I definitely feel like the stars of the pay-per-view was definitely all the women in the War Games match. Io Sky, shout out to her.
Big facts.
The spot where she jumped off the cage with the trash can over her head was super dope. And everybody put everything on the line, man. So that match was like super entertaining. And I'm definitely like happy with that. The men's War Games match was pretty good to see Randy Orton back. Randy Orton is like he came back like huge. So it was dope to see him. It's crazy that he hasn't been around for almost a year and a half or something like that.
18 months.
So it was dope to see him back. So that match was pretty good. But I do want to shout out The Miz. The Miz did a great job against Gunther. I want to say I forgot how good Miz can really be in the ring. So that kind of like reminded me, and I think it reminded others, like, Miz is that dude. Like, he can do his thing in the ring. So I definitely want to give him a shout out. But everyone is talking about the return of CM Punk. CM Punk, don't like the guy. I could care less about CM Punk. Fuck him. I guess everyone. I understand why everyone's so excited, why everyone's like so happy and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to steal no one's joy, no one's thunder, or nothing like that. Again, I didn't get a chance to really see him with his WWE run. I actually just started watching him when he was with AEW, and AEW was trash. He's in the ring, he's slow. I don't know. I strongly do not like him, like, at all. And like, I really hate CM Punk. And I'll stand on that. Like, y'all can be happy all y'all want. This man the best in the world. I can name 5 to 10 wrestlers right now that are better than him and that should be him and all of that. But I do love that, he's going to feud with Seth. That makes sense because that's definitely going to be box office. So, but I am excited to see exactly what they are going to do with CM Punk. So I do want to see that. So we'll see. Y'all know how I ride with Cody and all of that. So, but again, Survivor Series was pretty good. And that's it.
There you have it. The man hates CM Punk, and that never ceases to entertain me. Eric, what was your question that you had?
I'll get back to that. Did he record that at work? Like, that was definitely his corporate Ken voice.
Wasn't it?
he was enunciating every syllable. Like,
you were talking about me,
right? He talking about you, code switching. That man was recording from the job.
I heard everything.
If he didn't say fuck him, I would have been convinced. Actually, my question is the last thing that he brought up. Like, where do we go from here with Punk? Like, what do you want to see, either short term or long term? Like, what's your vision there?
Got to see the Rollins match. I love the business when it's done right, where you can take something that has a kernel of truth in it, and then you can make it into a storyline. Now, there are times where them lines get blurred so much where you're like, I don't really know where this is, but seeing how people who don't watch wrestling regularly react to the video clips they've seen of Seth Rollins' reaction, I'm like, oh yeah, WWE has box office match right here in their hands with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Like, when I saw it on SportsCenter, I was like, oh yeah, like, and people in the comments were, I don't know if this is real. And somebody like, this is absolutely real. And it's like, no, this is a work. And I was like, when that is happening, you already know, like, you have something that you need to continue to pursue here. So definitely want to see the Seth Rollins. I would be curious to see just some old story, like with Cody. Like, let's see some Cody action there as well. I mean, you could really see CM Punk has a personality type where there are a few guys where I could see a storyline happening, but Seth Rollins is the one where I have to see this.
Yeah, and I know both of them, like, they both have a very obvious hole in their resumes, which is main event in WrestleMania. So I think that because now you have 2 WrestleMania main events, like, they actually will probably get that spot. I would imagine, and it, like, the fact that we could potentially have 2 different big money storylines, like, running hot at the same time, like, into WrestleMania 40, like, it's a big one. Like, it's a good time to be WWE. And the fact that this kind of came together because of all the shit that happened at AEW, is unfortunate for that company, but that's why WWE has needed competition for so long, because like, it creates these dream matches that you, at various points, you don't think that you'll ever get to see. It allows people that might be misused or unhappy in one company to go to the other one and, really spread their wings. Like, Swerve Strickland in AEW is doing things that he never would have been able to do in NXT or WWE. So, like, it's beneficial to everyone around. So, I mean, we talked about it a couple months ago where people are like tribal about the companies that they like. It's like, just enjoy it all, or pick what you enjoy, but like, don't denigrate the others. Like, it's good business for one is good business for everybody.
I definitely agree. And you saying AEW reminded me of one more thing I wanted to bring up before we wrap up here. In the press conference, Triple H, they asked him about Jade Cargill and where she's been, when she's going to make an appearance. And his comments were interesting to me because what I heard was she needs to develop some more in-ring abilities before we want to roll her out, because it seems to me as the WWE was like, we have a star on our hands, and when we put her out here, we want to make sure that she can go with the Beckys, with the Baileys, with the Biancas, with whoever it is in the division that they have. So that's what I heard. I wanted to see if you heard what I heard about Jade Cargill. Like, oh, she can star. We can fix the rest. Like, we got the star part. We can fix the rest.
I still haven't watched the full comments. Like, I saw a clip of it, so I don't have the full context. But yeah, that's without it being shade, like it was shade, where it's like she ain't learned anything over there. So we're kind of trying to help her along in that regard. Like, he's very specific to say, through no fault of her own, she kind of ain't got nothing. So, she's in, which I think we talked about that when she signed. Like, there's no reason to kind of rush anything. Like, everybody's like, is it main roster? Is it NXT? It's like, just let her be in the performance center, like find the perfect spot for her. Like, you know what you have is going to be big whenever she, you know, her music drops and she comes out for her debut, but you don't have to force anything at this moment. Like, again, like when she's ready, she's going to hit the ground running. And like, you know that she at least has a baseline where, you know, it's not going to be, what's that, Gable Stevenson or whatever, where it's like they had to try to teach him to wrestle and it's like it just didn't work. Like, you know, you at least have something. So if you can like really polish it up and let her develop into the spot that you need her in, like the better that everybody will be.
That's a fact.